Okay, let's go. Continue on. Trigger Happy Havoc. I was gonna try to do this episode yesterday, but Steve wouldn't let me play Danganronpa 1, and I've just figured out how to fix it. But everything's fine, and now we can play.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
That is true.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then, Makoto isn't the culprit?
Yes.
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
I think so, Taka?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting to the bathroom, and enough reason is how did the killer broke? No. It's the doorknob. Because everything else wasn't broken. So it had to only be the doorknob.
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Yep.
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
No.
You still don't see? Okay then.
Because you know how to unlock his door.
Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. Almost enough to the first exact key point here. There's a bit more to learn, but non-stop debate. So do you hear them? Absolutely. From here on, the number of weak points will start going up. But no matter how many weak points, there's essentially only one line of contradiction in that debate. What turns is not all weak points here are necessarily false. If you true Polish on the wrong one, not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll also lose trust in everyone. And your influence gauge will take damage. But this is important because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you fail. You have to rely on your own logic to determine which sweet spots are actually lies and contradictions. Well then go back and have fun. Okay, I'm gonna listen first.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
That is true.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Yes.
Then the killer ran after her.
Yeah.
And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
I know that's not right.
And finally, the culprit had Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it! We already know the answer.
You are wrong. It's not because there was luck. No, there's a different reason entirely.
The incident took place in Sayaka was first, she then fled into the—
Then the killer ran, and they got into the back. At that point, the killer— Because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the culprit had—
To finish the job.
It was you! We already know the answer. The incident took place. Sayaka was first, she then fled into the—
Then the killer ran, and they got into the back. At that point, the killer— Because Sayaka had locked it.
No!
No, that's wrong. The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yep, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door.
You know, what comes in both ways, you know?
That's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, an important detail about the room of the place that they didn't know was—
I got it!
It took place in Makoto.
The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
No, feel me, we don't know if the culprit's a he yet.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room,
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Yep.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is—
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
Togami, agree.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms? Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
That's what we're trying to figure out, Mondo.
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
No.
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
No.
Majority rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh! As a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you
don't gotta sound so disappointed.
Hey, let Hina speak.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way.
Which is?
They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place.
Shut up, Fufumi. Let the boy speak.
Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she has to do something particular, because I'm pretty sure. There's an answer right there. There's no way Sayaka was winning because... Is this one? Is this?
I got it!
Is that one? Okay.
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
The same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, open your door for anyone. Even if I'm sure you absolutely will open it, otherwise what's the point of even switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
Ulterior motive?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
There's something I want to talk to you about. Please let's do. Find your next something you never
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
You're not wrong.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No!
No, I didn't.
But of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But why? Why would she write?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yes.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
Okay. The 2 hours around 3 seconds, that is, it has to be...
Sayaka and Makoto switched room, but in the note, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So then they would have gone to exactly
the room that Makoto...
No,
that's wrong! The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Yes.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
That's what we're trying to figure out. That's wrong. There's only one person who could switch the nameplates. The only person who we had switched for him was the killer, me, Sayaka.
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
There's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplate to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact—
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Yeah, but who did she invite, Taka?
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
I think so.
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
The reason I know Sayaka's wrist was broken with the fake is because when you look at her wrist, there's no doubt. Because of this.
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Because of the sword, because it peels off easily if you get on her wrist.
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because—
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword! Right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth—
Alright, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room, and what led to Sayaka's death, that's what we need to make clear. There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates, where like your mark yes, because this is a new Danganronpa game for me, and I need to know. Are you getting used to these non-stop debates? Start with the next debate, I'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder. But just like the weak points, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. To become with the wrong combination, you'll take damage to your influence gauge. You'll press the Q key to rotate the cylinder and truth bullets fire. Secondary weak bullets you can use, or you can use the mouse wheel. By the way, if there's multiple debates at the time, they will be loading the cylinder. For our purposes, this time, the local decibel will be set to more than you like nothing. Oh geez.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
Okay.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
No, that's wrong! Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife?
Yep.
That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
Okay, Mondo.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If you don't know, you use it to protect yourself?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
We know who all had the kitchen knife.
I think I get it! So here's how it all played out.
Listen,
The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
If you want to use the sword, she used her palm.
I got it! You're talking about her palms, right?
Because of all the sword, like a weapon.
The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hand. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Yep. Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, Choco, you're not ugly.
No, that's not it at all.
There's no way Sayaka lost the gold coating off her hands because there's certain regulations that ask about dang it, the water was off.
I got it!
Yeah, the water was off.
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Oh my.
You're no different! You smell like a big fat ugly donkey!
Aw, thank you, Choco. Thank you for saying things out of it.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
Insult.
Insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
The one who damaged the sheath would have to have something known about the sword. Sayaka!
I got it! Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own. She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
So she started it all, huh?
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct?
That's a weird story. She said Makoto's name weird. That is okay, Phyllis. I love you.
Maybe the reason she wanted to switch room was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
Oh, yeah.
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room, where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out, while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky?
Why do you mean?
For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior.
Kagami, you're not wrong.
I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation, a totally forgettable kid, or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Just hold on! That can't be true!
Oh, stop! The evidence is there.
Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
That's why we're here, Yasuhiro?
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Is it really all over? Also, absolutely committed to finding out who killed her, but what can I do? I mean, as far as clues go, there's nothing left. Makoto, what do you mean? I'm trying to apologize for having used it. Dying message.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Very well. Then let's review all the clues we've found up to this point one more time.
Do we really have time for all that?
Die! If we don't do something, we're all gonna die!
No, I don't want you there. There's still one clue up, I'm sure of it. Sayaka left it on the wall so we bring it up next.
It's easy just to say, hey, but there just aren't any more clues, right?
No, that's wrong! There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037. Written in her own blood.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
There's no question that Sayaka wrote that message, and I can prove it. Her left index.
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it.
Yeah, because she had blood on that.
That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean? 11037?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
What are you thinking, Fumi?
Huh? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1-1. But looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Whoa! You might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Wow, Mondo!
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N, N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Damn it, it's no use, I just don't know.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Huh? Rotate it. I think maybe I see something.
Oh my god. Now I see. She wrote down the killer's name.
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right onto who did it.
So, whose name did she write?
Sayaka's iMessage reveals the real killer's name. If you turn her message 180 degrees, she becomes just a clue. N. I don't know who it is. I'm just asking it right now.
Here's my answer. The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees. If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence.
No. No.
It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally and had to write upside down, and as a result, when you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
Evidence that Leon tried to get rid of. It's that thing in front of him from the killer, right? Oh, this part. Yeah.
I got it! You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right! There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yes, Kyoko, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think so.
The part remains that the button on the suit which the killer was able to get rid of. Something about it we need to pay attention to when we find out. How it was really controlled how
I got it!
Yeah, it was how.
If we look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either.
Alright, we'll see how much we can do.
You need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty.
You're not wrong!
So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
No, that's wrong. There is one way to use the killer without being on the cleaning duty, and that's exactly what proves that Leon is the real killer. That's the evidence we need.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash?
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to destroy the evidence. Which means the only possible suspect is whoever had the trash room key.
Okay, so the person who would have had the trash room key was...
You?
Huh? Me? No!
There's actually all the rules that are what you connect. So we're just trying to
the key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty.
So the only one, the
person in charge of the trash?
What everyone was taking trash with me is supposed to be incinerator. What part of that was it?
Shoot!
Let's see that one more time. Okay.
The key to the trash. Whoever was on cleaning.
So the only one, the person.
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to. No, that's wrong! Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
Alright, that's our episode for today. We have learned that Sayaka started the attack. We learned that Sayaka's dying message was Leo, and that she made the murder, so she framed it on me, Makoto. And that we found out that someone destroyed evidence. I know it's a white button in us, but there's a lot of people, so we are figuring out how they rip keys, how they open the, trash room where the incinerator was. And we have found our way. We will continue that the next time. So see you next time, guys!